Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be discussing some Wings of Fire myths and misconceptions in the community. Some of these I noticed circulate around the fandom, while others were pointed out to me by you guys. This video does contain spoilers for Darkness of Dragons and Darkstalker Legends, so if you haven't read those books yet, then I'd recommend clicking off. Also, before we start the video, huge shout out to my patrons! Crazy Roblox Man, LordIsopod, DragoLover95, Springtail Productions, and 3 Moons. Thank you so much for supporting me. Links to their social medias are in the description down below. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. One of the most common myths I've seen go around the fandom is that Albatross is a Seawing Icewing hybrid. I'm not really sure how this got started. Maybe it could be because of Albatross's lighter coloring, or the fact that he has animus magic, which likely originated from the Icewings. But this isn't true. When a fan asked Tui, the author of the series, about the possibility of Albatross being a hybrid, she said that his colors were most likely natural pigmentations. Same with Anemone. It was confirmed that her colors are just on the lightest form of the Seawing color spectrum. So, there's a myth debunked. Another misconception I've heard in Wings of Fire, usually in Wings of Fire fact videos or in the comments, is that Peril is a Rainwing Skywing hybrid. This is just entirely not true, though I can understand why there may be some confusion surrounding the topic. However, here's how it could be easily disproved. When Chameleon made with Kestrel, he was in his Skywing form, Soar. By using the Animus Enchanted form, he had none of his Rainwing genes, making him genetically 100% a Skywing. Whenever Chameleon switches forms, he takes on none of his past genetics, such as how he doesn't have the same snout deformity when sleeping as another dragon he created. I see a lot of people thinking that Peril is a hybrid, but her father being Soar at the time of mating with Kestrel completely disproves this statement. This next one is less of a myth, but rather more of a Mandela effect within the Wings of Fire community. In case you aren't aware what the Mandela effect is, it's when the overwhelming majority of people remember something happening entirely different than it really did. In this case, here's something you totally see botched up in most retellings, maps, and AMVs surrounding Darkness of Dragons. Kinkajou wasn't the one to give Darkstalker the strawberry. It was actually his mother, Foeslayer. To be honest, I fell victim of remembering this wrong as well, mainly just due to how many times you see it as Kinkajou being the one to give Darkstalker the strawberry in so many projects by fans. Random person commented this on one of my latest community posts, and I literally had to reread this scene. I was honestly quite shocked. Kinkajou is the dragonette who created the plan and wrote the spell for the enchantment on the strawberry, but it was actually Foeslayer who picked it and handed the fruit to Darkstalker. When you think about it, this has such an emotional weight to it as well that has gotten overlooked. It's really sad when you realize that Foeslayer had to erase the memories of her own son. And, if you don't believe me, go back and reread this scene. You'll see how your memory has failed you just as it has for me. This myth sort of follows the trend of the last one, being it is also another case of the Mandela effect. As commented by Nebula the Duchy, Indigo wasn't the one to kill Albatross. It was actually Fathom. There is a little bit of a reason why this one was forgotten, mainly because, being in the story, Fathom lies and says that Indigo is the one to kill his grandfather, when in reality it was himself, who didn't want the attention of such a feat. But, just like the last one, in different AMVs, maps, and other projects, you'll often see the scene with Indigo being portrayed as the one killing Albatross and saving Fathom. Just yet another misconception to think about. This last one is quite random, but I was reminded of it by a user named Alula in the comments. A lot of people think that Winter and Lynx are cousins, but they're actually not related. I'm literally not even sure where this one came from, but even I thought they were cousins for quite some time. You can imagine how I was quite confused by the Winter times Lynx ship at first. But, thankfully, I found out I wasn't the only one who thought they were cousins at first. I have no idea why I even thought that. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Are there any other Wings of Fire myths or misconceptions you spotted going around the fandom? Let me know down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.